What if some people aren't wearing their real face? In the Twilight Zone episode, The Four of Us Are Dying, a man changes his appearance at will, stealing lives, deceiving strangers, and manipulating the world around him. But what if that story isn't just fiction? What if there really are people walking among us, wearing borrowed faces, hiding their true identity, and playing roles for reasons we can't see? Today's tarot is about uncovering a strange possibility. Who are these face changers? Where do they come from? And can we even tell who they are? Let's draw the cards and look beneath the mask. Hello everyone, welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time on my channel. Today we are working on Twilight Zone episode 13, and we're going to hop right in with question 1. Question is, are there people around us who have the ability to change their face to look like anyone they want? So we are going to start with Oracle and then move on to Tarot for more information. Okay, let's see what our first card is. What dreams may come. Going to pull another one just to make sure I fully understand what this is saying. So are there people around us who have the ability to change their face to look like anyone they want? And if you recall, if you've ever seen the movie What Dreams May Come, people in Dances with Wolves is the next card. People within the dream place or within spirit, beyond the veil, they were able to take on any face that they wished. For instance, his daughter always wanted to be Asian in appearance because she would see her dad on flights looking at Asian women with just awe because he really liked the way that they looked. So his daughter really wanted to be Asian so that her father would look at her that way. And so I'm going to say there are definitely people around us who are able to change their face to look like anyone they want. That's a pretty clear card there. And Dances with Wolves, not only can they take on the appearance, they know how to act also. It might be a little foreign at first, trying to figure out the person that they've decided to copy, but they do learn it, just as Kevin Costner in Dances with Wolves learned to communicate with the Native Americans. Then we have For Love of the Game. I take it that this is something that these people just really enjoy doing. And they can do it at will. All they have to do is clear their mind and focus to be able to change their face into whomever they would like to change into. Jurassic Park. Apparently this has been going on for a long time. Way back to the dinosaur days, maybe. When, if there were cavemen or whoever was on Earth at that time. It's been going on for a long time. Spirit in the Sky. The Net. E.T. Sometimes I think the way that it looks, there's 3 different ways or 3 different places these kinds of face changers come from. They were born with the ability. That's a possibility. They're AI, pretty much. Robotic. What do you want to call them? Is it NCs? NPs, non-player characters. Anyway, they're not really human, per se. And they're alien. So 3 different possibilities here as to how this face changing is done and who does it. So let's see what more that tarot can add to this. I love what dreams may come. And I mean, that was clear as clear can be. One of the main parts of the movie. All right, so with tarot, with what dreams may come, we have 4 of Cups. Yeah, they can pick and choose whoever they would like to look like. Some people, they just, no, don't want to. And other people, they are very pleased to become that face. Justice. They feel very justified in doing what they're doing. Not sure why, but they feel very justified. Maybe it's for whatever means that they're called to do it. But with justice, you know, when they're weighing it, apparently it comes out with the scale lean towards them and what they're doing. 8 of Wands. People might feel victimized by what they can do and victimized at having somebody take their face. Now, it's not like they stop existing, meaning the person whose face they're borrowing, but it makes people feel very victimized. Queen of Wands. Yeah, they use their energy to change into whatever it is that they care about. And it doesn't just have to be people. Apparently, they can change into other things, trees, animals. And they've been able to do it as long as anyone can remember. 2 of Pentacles. In spirit, there was a choice. They could choose to do this, to be able to be a face changer in this life or not. They had a choice before birth. Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is a card of gift of life. And with the net, this is for some of these AI or non-player characters, it is a gift of life. Even if it's not their own life. They're okay with that. And King of Swords. For the ET, this is the ultimate way for them to be able to communicate with humanity, is by taking on the form or the face of someone important or someone that they just need to communicate with. That's what it's about for them. So let us clean up here and go on to question 2. There are 7 questions in this tarot reading. And if you're new here, you might see that I am kind of slow in picking up my cards. I'm just tucking them in at random places so they're already partially shuffled before I actually shuffle and cut. That way, if we have any repeat cards. We know that those repeat cards are meant to come out, and it's not just because I shuffled in not the best way. All right, so almost done here. All right, so question 2. Are these people humans or not from Earth at all? I'd say that was pretty well answered in the first question, but we're going to see what the cards have to say anyway. And in the first question, it was AI or non-player characters. It was they were born with the ability, and then also ET. So let's see what more it has to share there. Are these people humans or not from Earth at all? Michael. So I'm going to say not from Earth at all. Oh, almost forgot to shuffle. Backdraft. Not sure where that's going, so we're going to pull another card here. Man on Fire. Okay, I feel like it's saying... Oh, excuse me. I dropped a card here. Hold on. I feel like it's saying here that those people who were born with this ability, they knew that it could come back and burn them. Big time. That with Backdraft and Man on Fire, they really needed to be on the lookout, because doing this could be very dangerous. Transformation. I don't feel like those that are born with this ability are doing it for nefarious reasons. I don't. I feel like it's almost like they feel like they can do anything. So if they were to become a firefighter and get their face burned, they could change their face, right? If they wanted to be somebody's bodyguard and somebody realized who they were and tried to take them out, they could change their face into somebody different. The advantages of being able to transform this way, as you can see, the card is very light in comparison, is good. So let's see what else we have here. iRobot, Little Willie, and Fallen Angel. Well, here we're back to the AI again. For these people, the non-player characters or AI, I don't feel like they really have any feelings about it. They don't have to explain themselves in any way, shape, or form. They have no desire to explain themselves. And in the case of the Fallen Angel, this would be also the ETs that when they have to do something heroic for humanity, they can change their face. They're under Backdraft when they can, when they do something heroic. It's all on a transformation basis for whatever is needed. So again, repeated, we had those who are born with it, the AI or non-player characters, and ET. All right, so let's see what Tarot has to say. And again, we're saying, are these people humans or not from Earth at all? So they're just reiterating what the first question shared. And how do I come up with ET with fallen angel? I guess for me that card is like Roswell, the Roswell crash. They were fallen angels. They fell from the sky. That's how it works for me. All right, so we have the Ace of Swords with Michael. So yeah, there's a lot of potential of communication, a lot of really cool ideas that can come from being able to do this. And when they decided to do it, that's what was in their mind when they decided before birth to be a face changer. All the potential. Then we have the Six of Pentacles. And they figured that no matter, they would borrow the face and they would give back. In other words, if they're a firefighter, they would borrow a face if necessary. Go in, save somebody, and so they were giving back. It wasn't just I'm going to take your face and do something terrible. No, they wanted to be able to do good things, to kind of have a give and take. And Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, this is living, as far as they're concerned, it's like living their best life. They can live whatever kind of life that they want to live as long as they're giving back. That's important in the ones who were born this way. It's important that they do good and that they give back. Transformation, Nine of Cups. They might wish sometimes that they were normal in the human form. They might wish that, but for the most part, they're quite happy with their ability, quite happy with the ability to transform as they can. And Eight of Swords. Yeah, I think without this ability, the iRobot, the robots or the AI or the NPC characters would feel very victimized. And because they are not human per se, the people's faces that they borrow feel very victimized. So we're back to that again. Empress. Regardless, they're able to create or be whoever they wish to be without any regret whatsoever. They can do it. And the Three of Swords. Yeah, a lot of the ETs will come, or aliens will come, to gain knowledge. And for a lot of people, this Three of Swords is deceit, betrayal. In this case, Three of Swords, this is a growth of the mind. So they will use this opportunity to be a face changer or to change faces to gain knowledge about humanity, to gain knowledge about something specific they need to know or want to know. So let us pick up and move on to question 3. And if you are hearing anything or you hear anything strange in my videos in the background, I have a Chihuahua who lays next to me in his bed or sometimes on the floor, and he likes to contribute with snoring. Sometimes it's very mild snoring, sometimes it's very loud snoring. So just so you're aware, he likes to be in the same room while I'm recording, and that's just kind of how it works. All right, so let us pick this up. Move on to question 3. So question 3. Are there a lot of people with a face-changing ability on Earth, or just a few? That's a good question. Man on fire again. I'm going to pull another card here before I say anything on that one. I have an idea, but Field of Dreams. Okay, so Man on Fire. I'm almost inclined to say that most of those in high places that are bodyguards to children from wealthy families, or bodyguards to the president, to just really important people in our society, I guess, who require bodyguards. I feel like the bodyguards, all of them, have this ability, or at least some of them. The best ones, some of the best ones, have the ability to change their face to keep people safe, to guard those people that they have been hired to guard. And to some degree, I almost think there might be a school to teach people how to change their face. I mean, if you think of Field of Dreams, the main thing in there is build it and they will come. So I'm thinking that this is a very interesting class or training that you can do, or certain people can do, or maybe bodyguards are sent to this training. Outbreak. Only certain people, it appears, have knowledge of this training, because if not, this would be something that would spread like wildfire, and everybody would be wanting to do it, because most humans, many humans, are not happy in their own skin, which is why most of the time we spend time trying to look like other people, trying to mirror the way other people behave. I mean, look at the actors and actresses in Hollywood, and how there are many people that are such fans that they do everything that they can do just to look like them. They live. They're pretty hidden, these people. Quite hidden. In the movie They Live, special glasses, sunglasses, are required to be able to see who the aliens are in that movie. But apparently, they're pretty much all around us. Just as they, I mean, on this card, it says, if I can read it here. It's not going to focus, but it says you are, or you see them on the street, you watch them on TV. You might even vote for one this fall. You think they're people just like you, you're wrong, dead wrong. So they're pretty much everywhere. So let's see what more we have. Yep, Mr. Roboto. The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. And The Great Escape. Stay. For a lot of them, it is a survival situation. mean, if you were, let's say you were a criminal, what better way to avoid being caught and put in jail than to have learned how to face change or be able to face change? Again, this is a natural thing for AI being able to do this, or NPC characters, non-player characters, sorry. And at some point, it may be an issue. The more people figure it out, the more people know about it, chances are there's going to be a battle of some sort. There always is on Earth, right? There's always something that people are fighting for or fighting against. And, you know, having your face changed, that's kind of a big deal for many people. And there might come a time when these people have to make a break for it. But the way that they do it, or will do it, is by face changing, for sure. So let's see what tarot has to share. It's interesting that they live came up right smack in the center. I think for the bodyguards, this is a good thing. As long as they're on the good side and they are protecting the people that they need to protect. Two of Pentacles. Looks like they have the choice to become a face changer or not. These bodyguards. Seven of Wands. Yeah, they are told that this is a great way to be able to defend themselves from anybody who might try to take them out while they are bodyguards. Moon. Yeah, it's a secretive thing because, again, everybody and his brother would want to learn if at all possible. For whatever reasons. Fool. And there are people, obviously, who, even with the glasses, aren't going to believe it. They just are in their own little world and they're not going to believe that anything like this is possible. Tower. It could all come falling down. Yes, it could. Like I said, the people whose faces are borrowed feel quite victimized, as we saw in the first and second question. So yeah, it could all come falling down. Take a war, a battle, judgment, and there will be some people called to start this battle, start this war, fight for, well, again, independence, temperance. Yeah, these people might have to find the great escape, might have to go and find a place that they can, or find a way that they can balance their own face and other people's faces, the time they spend, so that they don't stand out quite as strongly. Maybe that's their great escape. They can figure out how to balance that. All right, this is interesting for sure. So let's pick it up here and move on to question 4. So if you're enjoying my content, please feel free to like and subscribe. Also to share, because that definitely builds the channel. And also, and what I enjoy the most is the commenting. I love it if you share what you're seeing in the cards. I'm just one person. Just because I'm reading it a certain way doesn't mean that's exactly the only story there can be. So if you see something else in the cards, I'd love to see what you have. All right, so almost there. Picking up here. They're slippery enough they want to slide, slide, slide. All right, so question 4. We seem to be a little ahead here. Is face changing a learned ability or a natural ability? So again, we've covered some of this in all 3 questions. So let's just see where this goes, what more information it gives us about it. Is face changing a learned ability or a natural ability? We have Love Train. And I'm going to get one more card to see where this is flowing. I feel like it's saying with Love Train, pretty much anybody could do it. That it definitely could be learned. Because the first words on this card, Love Train, is collective movement. Man in the Iron Mask. So I think it's both, okay? Is face changing a learned ability or a natural ability? And I'm seeing here that it definitely could be a collective movement if, of course, the outbreak card from previously was removed from the scenario, or the fact that I think the school or the training is hidden. Those who have the natural ability hide behind a mask very carefully. Maybe they never show their real face. Not sure why, but maybe they never do. Maybe it'll share here. Okay. The Poseidon Adventure. Yeah, I think they probably feel like if people really knew who they were and what they could do, that it would turn worlds upside down. It would turn their life upside down. It would turn everybody else's life upside down, and there would be a lot of panic. Even if what is done for the good of humanity or the good of someone specific, I think still it might not be taken really well. Yeah, they're afraid to share what they can do, what they were born with. Terrified to share it, in fact. If it were a collective movement and everybody could do it, well, then it wouldn't be any big deal. Ascending, Top of the World, and Mothman Prophecies. So I feel like we are definitely moving up in our vibration, in our thinking, so that we might actually have a little more understanding about people who have certain abilities, not just face-changing abilities, but other abilities that right now we might consider terrifying or not okay. If you think about the movie X-Men, all those people that had abilities, at first when they were saving the world, everybody thought it was great. But then, when they needed a fall guy for something that happened, they turned straight to them. And then everybody was against them. So yeah, I think we're moving up in our abilities to think, but it's going to be a while. We have to reach the top of the world to really have that compassion. And that's kind of the warning that is instinctively known or given to the people who have this natural ability. You would think it would be something natural, but over the course of time, they get to realize what people's reactions to what they can do is. And I feel like they are warned ahead of time before they ever get to that point of sharing this gift. And Tarot says, with Love Train, it says 7 of Pentacles. Eventually, this might end up being a collective movement, this face-changing ability. Perhaps. It is possible. The seed has been planted at some point, but it hasn't really taken off. So I guess we wait and see. 6 of Wands. Well, that's a card about recognition. These people really do not want to be recognized as a face changer. So perhaps, well, maybe that is why it's the man in the iron mask. Nobody ever really sees his face. They see the iron mask. Maybe, just in case the face changing is needed, maybe the face changer has a face that isn't theirs, that is the only face they use. So nobody knows any different. They recognize them for the face that they always see, but that's not really who they are. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, in caring about people, these people they just want to live their life. They just want to care about people and have people care about them, as any relationship would be. That's what they want. They don't want to turn everybody's life upside down. That's not their desire. Even though they were born to do this. Ace of Swords. Yeah, this fear can take a lot of different turns. The idea of fear can escalate into some very terrifying things. Anything that you could possibly think of, this can turn into. 5 of Wands. Yeah, the energy still isn't high enough. Our energy is still chaotic. We are moving up in frequency. We are getting a little more understanding, a little more compassion, but we're not there yet. 2 of Pentacles. When we reach the top of the world, when we can align our frequencies to pretty much anything, then we can make an informed decision as to what we want life to be like. Do we want to stay with our heads buried in the sand and pretend like we don't notice these things? Or do we want to connect as we're supposed to? I think once we hit the top of the world, I mean, that's a big decision to make. Big decision. And the Chariot. Yeah, I think the warning is carried on the wind for these people. Just an instinctive carried on the wind. It is. It's a carried on the wind warning when they perhaps get the idea in their mind to borrow this person's face. Nobody will know. Somehow they hear the voice on the wind that says, no, don't do that. That's not a good idea. You don't want to be recognized as a face changer. Not yet. All right, so let us pick these up and move on to question 5. Would be an interesting skill to have, wouldn't it? I mean, some people might think, oh, wow, I could experience what it's like to be a movie star or something like that, just to go and borrow somebody's face for a day. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could do that myself, but that's me. Okay, so now all right. Question 5. Is face changing easy or does it take its toll? I think we kind of got a glimpse of that in one of the questions, 1 or 2, I think. Okay. Ball of fire. And I'm going to take another card just to be sure here about what I'm thinking with that one. Is face changing easy or does it take its toll? Forrest Gump. With Ball of Fire, that's something that flies through the air super fast and burns hot. So I'm going to say that this is pretty darn easy for them to take on. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Yeah, for them to take on another face, I think it's fast and I think it's easy. What dreams may come, again. And again, if you remember, we had that card before over the question about, are there people around us who have the ability to change their face to look like anyone they want? And we went into Spirit here, where he met his daughter, and she was Asian. And it took him a while to recognize her because she didn't look anything like what she did on Earth. So is face changing easy or does it take its toll? For them in Spirit, and reiterating again, it's a simple process. It's a matter of thought. They do it through thought. They think it, they envision it, they are it. Minority Report. Most people would think that anybody who has this ability is doing it for nefarious reasons. That's the only reason that they would want to do a face change. Minority Report is a movie about 3 psychics who can see into the future and give probabilities of what people are going to commit a crime even before they might even think about committing a crime. If they ever do think about committing a crime, might be a random thought that goes through their head. So in this case, it's very quick and easy to change into whoever they want. They just have to think about it, and it happens. And that's kind of reiterating that idea, is sometimes they do it just to do it, not because they have any specific reason to do it. Anna and the King, Dances with Wolves, and The Princess Bride. All 3 of these cards here give a similar story. In each one, they want to fit in. They want to be able to communicate and fit in with the people that they are around. So in Anna and the King, she went to a totally foreign country to be a teacher for the king's children. Didn't know anybody, didn't know their ways completely, but this is what she did. How much easier it would have been for her to change her face into someone from that country and be able to know who they are after a period of time know how they act, know their traditions, that kind of thing. Now, have no idea if just because they do a face change, if they take on the mannerisms, obviously, of whoever face they change into. Do they know things? Do they change the face and get the mind too, to some degree? I don't know. Same with Dances with Wolves. He wanted to learn about the Native Americans. Native Americans wanted to learn about him. They could change into anybody that they want to learn so many different things. And they could love whoever they choose if they wanted to. And this is kind of creepy in my opinion, but if someone saw a happy couple, just to know what that happy couple is like, they could change into one or the other, the male or the female in the relationship, or the female and anyway, we're just going to stick with male female. It's easier, and that's what it shows for Princess Bride too. But somebody could change their face to be the male to have an experience with that female in that relationship that seems very happy to them. So yeah, there's a lot of different reasons why they could and would change their appearance and do it more than once. But like we saw in the last question, there are those who stay behind the iron mask. They never really show who their real face is. So let's see what tarot has to add here. All right, we have Two of Cups. As soon as they know who they are and that they're capable, it's quick and easy. Nine of Pentacles. They can choose whatever life they would like to have. Seven of Wands. They might have to defend themselves if they take the wrong one. However, they can choose whoever they wish. Three of Cups. And here we're back to, for instance, the three psychics, just bringing that up again with Minority Report. We've got three psychics here with the cats. So it isn't something that they always know ahead of time that they're wanting to do or going to do. People may think that that's what they're going to do and just assume it and feel a victim and cause a problem and so on and so forth, when in fact none of it's happened yet. They haven't done anything. Five of Swords. Yeah, it's a way to make things a little less chaotic in the communication department. If you're able to communicate, look like and communicate like somebody from the same country, it would make things much, much easier. And the Ten of Cups, it would make life itself much more pleasant. And Queen of Cups, this is where they would get their ideas about, if they see a happy couple and they're able to take over either the man or the woman part or both at some point, they can gather an understanding of what a happy couple is about, what love is actually meant to be about. And of course, everybody has problems, but you know, what you see on the exterior, you don't see behind closed doors. So they could definitely have kind of a surprise behind closed doors if the couple is just putting up a show, right? All right, so let us get these all gathered up and pull for card number 6. So it doesn't take a toll, it doesn't look like, at all. It is a very easy process for them once they know that they can do it. It just kind of happens naturally. All they have to do is think about what they want to look like or who they want to look like, and there you go. They are that person. Okay. I feel like it always splits in a specific place. All right, so question 6. Do these face changers have an agenda? Okay, so there's the Minority Report. Obviously thinking that, most people would think that they do have an agenda. Some of this has been covered. We're going to ask or just allow the cards to give us more information on it. Casablanca. Thinking on that one. Midnight Train to Georgia. I feel like with Casablanca, maybe they're looking, maybe the agenda or part of the agenda would to find love, to find something that they feel is not a mistake. For some, it's wanting to just live as they are, live their authentic self. And part of that authentic self is being a face changer. They would like to be able to do that and not have to be somebody they're not be able to use their abilities. The Fog. And yeah, some of them really don't know if they have an agenda or not. It's a fog. They really don't know yet. And that could also mean that there are some that do have nefarious things in mind, such as robbing banks or, something like that. Guardians of the Galaxy. Ooh, now that's a thought, right? What if you did a face change and you were a guardian from the galaxy? You became a different being, a different species. Wow. Okay. Batteries not included. Roadhouse. Ball of Confusion. So as you can see here, we have, well, maybe you can't. If you've never seen the movie Batteries Included, we got a little spaceship here. Great movie, by the way. Need to see it. So again, being able to take on the appearance of, well, it could be any character from a movie, if that's what you chose. It could be taking on the appearance of an alien. It doesn't say here that the borrowed face has to be from somebody human. It doesn't say that. Not at all. That's interesting. And with Roadhouse, I think this is something these people automatically know they need to learn to do. They need to be able to defend themselves, because what they can do is pretty incredible, and it can be very chaotic, very confusing. Ball of Confusion, this says. It can be quite the road trip for anybody who is trailing along with them, and it can be quite the trip for them too. So there could be many different agendas for people who can do face changing. Let's see what tarot has to add. We have the Ten of Swords. Yeah, I think they really need to choose carefully what they do, because it could end very, very badly. Very badly. But it could also end up being the ultimate idea, too. So they're always in a toss-up. Should we do it or shouldn't we do it? Two of Cups. Yeah, they just want to be able to know themselves for who they are and how other people would react to them and how other people would have a relationship with them, because they want to have a good relationship with themselves. They want to be authentic. They have the gift. It was given to them for what reason they probably don't know, but they requested it before birth. And they just want to feel good about themselves. The Devil, yeah, there are some people who will take advantage of face changers if given the opportunity, if they know about them. Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles for me, this is the life quest card. Somebody who wants to go out on an adventure. And being able to be any character that you would like to be, that you see on TV, that would be an adventure, right? If you were one of the Guardians of the Galaxy, how cool that would be. You could go to the conference and be one of them and nobody would know the difference. And we have Death or transformation. Yeah, you could transform yourself into whatever you wished. Even an alien, if that's what you chose to do. Page of Wands. For anybody new, this is the energy that they have to know. They have to learn that to defend themselves. This is very important. It's an energy they have to learn. And the Nine of Wands. Yeah, it's a ball of confusion, or can be a ball of confusion, and this is why there's usually a barrier up as to what face changers allow themselves to do, or what they feel other people will allow them to do. What a shame, because again, they just want to be who they are. They may feel they're being held back just because they have this ability and they've been warned on the wind, keep it to yourself. It's not time yet. Humanity is just not mature enough to handle it. And to some degree, I imagine that's very true. As humans, we have very varied ideas, very varied thoughts about specific things. Varied thoughts on morality, varied thoughts on many, many things, which is why there's always fighting going on. Because everybody feels they're right. Okay, so almost done here. And cleaning up the cards, we've got one question left. So far, it's been pretty interesting as to what face changers are, and yeah. Anyway, so question 7. Is there any way to recognize a face changer? Ooh. That's an even better question, because if they look like somebody you know, And it's not the somebody you know. Can you know? Can you recognize a face changer? Fried green tomatoes. One more card here before I say anything about this one. I know it came to mind immediately upon seeing this. Groundhog Day. All right, I feel like for those people who have family or friends that they are very, very close to, that they share every secret, that they've spent every day together, I feel like they certainly would recognize a face changer if a face changer did their thing to someone that they know that well. I feel like that's what they feel or would feel. Absolutely, yes. Face changer took over my husband or wife or sister or brother, mother, father, whatever, whoever you're closest to, that you feel like you would know. Spirit in the sky. I think it might be possible to know if this person that you're close to, you have spent a lot of time in spirit with as well. That could have another meaning here too, so. The bone collector. That's saying it's all in the details. You have to be an extremely observant individual to recognize a face changer. The smallest detail can escape. Postman, Sleepy Hollow, and Africa. So I feel like this is saying here that every detail, right? So the postman, this is communication. How do they communicate? What do they believe in? What are their doctrines? What are their morals? How do they communicate? What kind of movies do they like to watch? What kind of dreams do they have? Where do they want to go? What are their secret places? If you could go anywhere you wanted to go, where would that be? As a loved one or somebody who's close to this person, these are things you probably know. So this is saying if you want to recognize a face changer, look for the details. Look at how they communicate. If their communication with you is a bomb in comparison to how you and this person normally communicate, then you know it's probably a face changer. If they're creepy and they've never been creepy before, probably a face changer. So let's see. If they're really cuddly and they never really been cuddly before, probably a face changer. If they've been an atheist all their lives or ever since you've known them, and all of a sudden they're praying and they're going to church, and yeah, Probably a face changer. Okay, so with fried green tomatoes, we have Empress. Yeah, this is a nurturing friendship. It's somebody you know so well, so well. Two of Wands. Somebody that you've walked through many a gate with. Planned so many things. Known each other for so long. Day in and day out, you've been with this person. Four of Pentacles. And you know this person holds on to their morals and their beliefs, holds on to life dear, almost too tight. And suddenly they're not. King of Pentacles. You know every detail about this person's life. You know every detail. You know who they are. You know what their life is like. You know everything about them. If their communication changes, Wheel of Fortune. For the better or for the worse. Six of Cups. If they don't remember the same things that you do, if suddenly their memories just aren't as they should be, they're creepy memories, or they're kind of nightmarish memories. It's a way to recognize, because you know that they're not that way. And Four of Wands. If they're homebodies all of a sudden, when they've never been homebodies, okay? Or they're way too cuddly, or they're too huggy, or not huggy enough, or they want to be out and on the go when they've always been homebodies. There are ways, but you have to be the one to pay attention. Not just take it as a, oh, well, that person, I mean, they just got up on the wrong side of the bed. Or trying something new. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it can be somebody trying something new. But in this case, they're specifically talking about face changers. They're telling you how to recognize a face changer. So that is it for this Twilight Zone inspired series, episode 13. Next week, here is your teaser. Before you go, if Earth were dying, would someone already have a way out? In the next episode, we'll explore the secret planet, a place to flee if Earth fails. A world like ours, hidden, protected, and possibly waiting. But who knows about it, and would they ever let us in? So that's the teaser for next week. On the screen also is the schedule for the shows, 3 that I do each week, so you know when to find them, where to find them. And hopefully if you're kind of a Twilight Zone fan, you might like the other 2 as well. So with that said, thank you so much for being a part of this reading with me. I do hope you've made it to the end. I will see you again next week, and until I do, please have a fantastic one. Take care.